Hello, everyone. Thanks for checking out today's broadcast. My name is Jonathan, and today is day 404 of my 3-year challenge to lose 300 pounds. If this is your first time checking out my broadcast, a little bit about me. I'm 39 years old. I'm married. We have 4 children, and I've been overweight my whole life. I've um I got to a point last year where it had really gotten out of control. I was over 500 pounds and I knew I needed to do something very soon, or else I was going to start running into some serious medical complications. So I created this challenge with kind of two main goals in mind. The first goal was that I knew I needed to stick to something long term. Like, I've done a lot of diets in the past and I've stuck, I've been like, oh, I'm going to diet until we go on vacation, or I'm going to diet for uh this event coming up, like a wedding or something like that. And I do great. I got a lot of motivation because there's a good goal coming up. And then I get to that event. I've either come close or made my goals. The event happens. And then afterwards, it doesn't seem like, there's no motivation to go back to the diet. And, and so that's why I knew I needed to challenge myself to sticking to this a lot longer than I ever have before. Because a lot of times I do like a low calorie diet that is sustainable for a short period of time, but after you do that for 6, 8, 9 months, it's really hard to continue to maintain a low calorie diet. So I knew I needed to find a way to lose the weight once I got to my goal weight, to maintain my weight, and I figured I could do that all within the 3-year period. The other big part of this challenge is that I have a lot of weight to lose. In the past, I'd set a goal to getting under 300 pounds or getting close to like what I weighed in high school, which was still, 275 pounds. And I would get to those goals or get close to those goals and it'd be great. I would feel great, but I would still be pretty overweight. I never set a goal of actually getting to a healthy weight for somebody who's kind of my size. And so that's why I challenged myself to lose the 300 pounds. Um, Everything's been going wonderful so far. In a little over a year's time, I've lost 185 pounds or so. And I couldn't be happier with the results. I'm not doing it the way I anticipated when I started, but I'm happy with where I'm at and I'm happy with how it's going. If anybody has any non-scale victories they'd like to share, I'd love to hear your non-scale victories. Any other questions, comments, I'd love to hear them as well. I do have to give a shout out to Wayne. He has been commenting on my videos and I really appreciate it, Wayne. I hope everything's going great with you. Uh, a lot has kind of gone on since I was last live. Hey, Anthony's saying hello. Hello, Anthony. I hope everything's going great with you too. Um, the I was supposed to go live and do my weigh-in Wednesday yesterday, and it wasn't until I got home Tuesday night that we had the dates mixed up. I thought I had a dentist appointment Wednesday morning and an appointment with uh, an optometrist for my daughter at a hospital. It's kind of a specialty place. On Thursday, and that was not the case. It was the other way around. We had the optometrist appointment uh, on Wednesday, and I had my dentist this morning. See, um, but the uh, so I ended up weighing. I had a great weigh in. I lost a couple pounds. I'm 333, 332.4 pounds. Which I'm extremely happy with that weight loss. I knew that I was going to be in a good position to lose weight just because I had been on, really focused on the diet the whole week and actually had an opportunity to go and do some workouts. But so anyways, we realized that we had the dates wrong, and we got kind of everything figured out so that I was able to go to the optometrist yesterday with my daughter, and things went well enough there. It's kind of an odd thing, but the uh the just being at a doctor's office, I felt so much more comfortable being at this weight. I don't know. The doctor said we were there 10 months ago. I don't remember if it was 10 months ago, but it could have been 10 months ago. The and you know, the waiting room chairs all have solid arms, but at a hospital now, there's no issue. I mean, they're very wide. There's no it's not having to worry about sitting in, they do have some that are double wide now as well, but I didn't need any of those. Just the whole experience, was a lot more comfortable. There's a lot of kind of running around, finding a parking spot in the parking garage, and then going and finding, getting the elevator to the skywalk and checking in, and then going to another elevator, and uh a little bit every time it seems like I go up there, I'm racing the clock because the doctor's office is like an hour and 15-minute drive away, or it's, I give myself an hour and 15 minutes and it's an hour and 20-minute kind of drive, it feels like. And, but we got there and had no issues with the appointment at all. Everything went well. But I did, uh, end up going out to eat with my daughter. And it was something where I wrestled with whether or not to do it. And I had a great weigh in. And I didn't, I want to continue with that. But I kind of allotted for it. It wasn't something I didn't make the decision. I didn't really know it was happening Wednesday until Tuesday night because I thought I was going to have another day to figure out what I was going to do. But um it worked out that where she has her doctor's appointment, there is kind of what I would say one more restaurant that we have wanted to check out that we haven't. And and so my daughter had a doctor's appointment, and she's actually, it's funny because of all of my kids, if I was going to go to a restaurant and make the kid kind of eat a vegan diet, she's the one I would take because she is the most open to the foods. But anyways, um what I decided to do was to not eat other than that meal. I figured that if because that's one of the things I hadn't done for the past 3 or 4 months. I've been eating regular, and then when these opportunities to eat come up, I'm still eating breakfast, and and then I'm having that meal, or a lot of times it's on the weekends. So I'm still eating a breakfast and a lunch, but I'm also having dinner. Hey, Carrie, saying hi. I hope everything is going great. My screen is a little messed up with the chat, and so I got to try to fix it here. I'm not getting, this is going to be, sorry guys. There we go. That's a little bit. Um, Carrie says, that girl is a vegan rock star. Yes. So uh, this is really annoying me that it's not popping my chat out here. Sorry guys, I am just super distracted and it's not very good. Right. So, we had a restaurant that I was hoping to We're twinning today. If only you could post a pic. Yes, we're all both wearing our Be a Goldfish Ted Lasso shirts. So, um, let me try to regather myself here after being distracted by missing half the chat. All right. So, I didn't eat breakfast, which probably helped with my weight loss and my weigh in. I probably would have weighed a little bit heavier had I had oatmeal, but it's a weird deal because when I do the weigh in on Wednesday at 4 p.m. my time, I've fasted for the last 8 or 9 hours most of the time because I don't eat lunch. So, when I weighed in at 10 a.m. that morning, who knows how much difference of weight I would have had I eaten the oatmeal. But we oh, I screwed that up. Okay. So there was one last restaurant up in it's Iowa City if you guys are from where we are or have any questions, but it's a little bit of a drive away from where we're at, and it is one of the few places. Like, I've been a big fan of supporting 100% vegan restaurants, and it's a lot easier to take our kids into 100% vegan restaurants because then we're not fighting over cheese and dairy items for the most part. So, but this one restaurant up in Iowa City is actually a brewery, has some vegan options, and I had been wanting to check it out, just had not had an opportunity. The last time we were in Iowa City, we went to a place called the Trumpet Blossom Cafe, which was really great. Um, well, it was really great for like me and Carrie, and then the other adult that we had with us. Our kids didn't really love the food that was there. The nice thing about this place is there's probably some things, I mean, well, easily the French fries are vegan there, and so the kids, would have eaten multiples of those. But I'm just gonna kind of go over because I think it's really neat. That this restaurant has vegan options, and I wanted to support that. Like that's an odd thing, but I like um I want to make sure that it's becoming more popular. If it wasn't becoming more popular, then this restaurant wouldn't even have these options. But I'm gonna try to pull this up if I got it. So I just took a quick picture of their menu, and the cool thing about their menu is across the bottom there's a black bar, but it says on each item whether or not it's vegan, vegetarian, gluten free. They also contain nuts, request vegan, and then request vegetarian, and then request gluten free. So they had all of those options on a lot of these foods. And if you look like this, the poke, you guys are seeing my whole phone. All right, let me get this back open. You're gonna see this photo too. So back at it. So next to each thing, like the salmon poke bowl, it says request vegan. So you can say, hey, I'd like this, but I want it vegan. They would probably substitute some sort of tofu for the salmon in that. They did have a couple items that were just vegan, like the guacamole would be a vegan item. And then they had a couple sandwiches that were on bread. The banh mi, which is one of the items that we got, was a marinated and grilled pork loin, pate, sriracha, aioli, pickled vegetables, cucumbers, jalapeno, cilantro on a baguette. And what I did with that is that I got it with the Impossible patty. And then the other thing we got was the black bean and sweet potato smash burger. And then with that, we just got it with the Sub Impossible burger as well. And so we didn't get the black bean and sweet potato patty. We got the Impossible burger. The reason I did that was because that was the sandwich that I got for my daughter, and I didn't know. I knew she'd like the Impossible Patty, and she did. She loved the. Um, you did. Um, the she did like the Impossible Patty, that smash burger. Um, and so it was really neat that they had that options. Oh my gosh, you guys are gonna keep seeing that photo. I shouldn't have it on my phone. I just sent it to Carrie to be teasing. All right. Um, wow, an amazing menu. Yeah, it's really cool that they did all that stuff and they have it split up and they take the time, and it wasn't, I mean, it was a brewery. Like we sat at a booth and right next to us were the big tanks where they kind of did all that stuff. Um, and so I just took some photos. This is the guacamole here. I never would have ordered guacamole prior to starting this diet. It's just because I would have ordered queso dip. That's why I would never have ordered guacamole. But we did get the guacamole here, and it was really good. Very fluffy, and you just like great to pile on the chips. I have multiple photos here, the guacamole and the chips. Um, and then there you go. When you have a chance to go on a date with a girl that cute, can't pass it up. So that was us. And then I thought it was cool. They put these little tags in the actual burgers themselves that say vegan. But this was the second one that was normally the bean smash burger on a baguette. Um, the some sort of vegan cheese, I imagine, on there. And then there was some spicy stuff on the bottom of that I did kind of scrape off. And my daughter enjoyed it. It was a little bit too spicy for her. But really, this sandwich here um, was an odd mix of things. Like the sauce was like a barbecue-y sauce, but I'm not sure what it was called, but it was a sweeter sauce, but then there was like raw cucumber on it, or sliced cucumber on it, and peppers. And then there were jalapeno slices on there that really made it extremely spicy when you got a hold of those. But great sandwich. I really enjoyed this sandwich. And it was um just another shot of that sandwich there. And I think I took a photo of the fries. We got some fries. Those were definitely my daughter's favorite part of the meal, were the French fries. But I was happy with all of the food that we got there. I wrestled with whether or not to go, but I figured that it was a great opportunity for me to try the restaurant. Um, Not cost a fortune, because if we'd have had the whole family there, it would have probably cost a lot more than just the two of us trying these things. We did take a little bit of the fries and stuff home because there was that. But um I also, it's something where it's awesome that those things are out there. And it makes me happy to know that I have that as kind of, those meals are going to be out there for me when I need them or when I want them. But after having that 3-pound weight loss over the course of the week, I'm very much focused on the other 6 days here being 100% on my diet. um, I did cut back a little bit of what I ate this morning. It was a little bit of having to go to the dentist, but I didn't eat as much breakfast as I normally would, and I'm not feeling any more hunger right now than I do any other day at 4:20 or 4:19. And uh, it's the um, and I didn't have as much for breakfast this morning. I'm sure I mean, that food was a good or huge hit of calories for me, especially versus what I've been eating for the last week. But I'm happy we went there. If anybody is in that area, check it out, and check out if you're looking for if you're on the fence about trying a plant-based diet and you're worried about not having anything that's ever going to taste like the foods you have, those that burger, both of those. I mean, the one I never would have ordered, so it's hard for me to compare. The one with the cucumber and the jalapeno and the green peppers and uh Carrie says we're having salad and or leftovers for dinner, so it's going to be a light dinner too. Um but the first sandwich that I showed that was on like the square bread that was my daughter's, I tried that and no difference in that versus a regular hamburger. I mean, there might have been instances where the whatever, it was just as good as as ordering a regular hamburger. And that's great that those options are out there, um and it's great that it's becoming more popular too, like it wasn't anything, they even, like I said, they had the little sticker things on there and they have it on their menu. So they saw a demand for it and they were, answering to that demand. And I'm happy to kind of support it. Um Let me see if I had much else. So with all that running around, I had my dentist appointment was kind of first thing this morning. So I didn't stay up extremely late or super late. And I did not end up getting a workout in yesterday or the night before. So I am due to get to the gym hopefully tonight and just kind of do a little bit of a workout. I do feel stronger in my upper body. I mean, I'm not doing any working out that's, that I would feel pumped up or feel like I'm gaining a ton of muscle, but it might also be this shirt too. It's a smaller shirt. I don't generally wear uh shirts that are this tight. So but I want to continue working on the strengthening of my my arm. It's getting stronger, but it does have a long ways to go till it gets to being as strong as the other arm. Let's see. And then the book, I'm listening to The Pleasure Trap again. And if you guys haven't listened to The Pleasure Trap, I would recommend listening to The Pleasure Trap. I um there's so much about the psychology of things and about how uh there's so much evolutionary, so much evolution behind where we are today, um and we have all these things around us that just hijack what nature, I was thinking about it yesterday. At 520 pounds, if you take me at 520 pounds and you just pick me up and you drop me in the woods, i'm I'm probably going to do what I did for this diet is for the first 40 days I'm going to starve because I'm not going to be able to catch anything. I mean, the um and I'm only going to be able to walk around a limited distance to gather, any type of edible vegetables or vegetation that's around me. And that's they talk about that a little bit in the book, that in nature all these animals are self-regulating, uh that they don't get too fat and they don't get too, if anything they get too skinny, they starve to death, and they talk about that thousands and thousands of humans have probably had starvation be their cause of death throughout our evolution, but that's not the case anymore. We've eliminated starvation as a cause of death in our society, and that wasn't the case um for people, especially before agriculture, before like 8500 BC. So so it's just wild. Like this book just, I really enjoy it. And I'm, like I said, I'm listening to it for the third time in essentially a year, because I really feel like it simplifies things to a good point for me, and it it talks more about the psychology behind it and the physiological, like the three tenets of it are that all creatures are designed to seek pleasure, avoid pain, and conserve energy, and that's kind of the three things. And I was thinking about it. I think that they almost need to add, like, if they're gonna have seek pleasure and avoid pain, they say conserve energy. I think they should have a counter to that, and it should be to gather energy. I think that for me especially, I have a huge drive to gather food energy as much as possible and store it on my body. And that's what I have done for the last 40 years. Um but yeah, the three tenets are pleasure, pain avoidance, and conserving energy. And there's a lot of things that you can break down into those components and reasons why things happen. Um, but in nature, I wouldn't survive. And a lot of the food that we eat now, the animals that we eat, wouldn't survive in nature either. If you were to release those chickens, pigs, and cattle into the wild, they have a much higher fat concentration, or they're built in such a way that is unnatural um to what they would have in the wild, uh because we want larger breasts on the chicken so we can get more meat, or we want fatter cows than what would be alive in the wild. So um I like the book, I do, and it's for me listening to it for another time. I'm not stressing to hear every moment of it. If I miss a few seconds, or I know that there's a couple studies they go over, which are studies I've heard a lot of, or not just from the Pleasure Trap book itself, but just from school and things like that. Um, and what they were talking about most recently, which is interesting too, is like they talk about the the like if you go from a dark room and you turn the lights on in the room, then you'll squint and your eyes will take time to adjust, and then they'll adjust to that bright light. And then when you walk outside, it's even brighter, so then your eyes adjust to that light. But then when you walk inside, it's it's less bright than it was inside, but it feels dimmer than where you just were. And so um your eyes adjust. But it talked a lot about, like, with food, if you eat sugar every single day, then it's like staring at a bright light, and then when you go to a room, when you cut out the sugar, you go into a dark room, you can't see anything, you're blind. And it's the same way when you cut these junk foods out, you're aimless, your body freaks out, like you kind of have, it's like if you're afraid of the dark and you live in a bright room and then the lights go out, you're going to be scared. Well, if you're afraid of starvation and you live in an environment that everything has sugar in it, when you eliminate the sugar, then you're going to freak out a little bit. But if you just take the time to let things settle down, after, in the case, in the dark room, a minute or so, your eyes adjust, you maybe start to be able to see some things. But with the diet, you got to give it a couple weeks, and your body starts to adjust, and then you realize how great a lot of these foods taste without the added salt, oil, and sugar, which are things that aren't found in nature. They're found in nature, but they have to be refined. We don't just get that, they have to rip the fiber out of these things. And then for people, without the fiber in the food, your body doesn't have a great way to gauge how much you're eating. And so that's a lot. I mean, that's a lot of what they talked about in the book, the most recent part. But I really like the book. I do suggest that you guys check it out. I don't have much else. I back on the scale. I'm about right there. I gained a little bit of weight, but not a lot of weight since yesterday. But being back on diet, maybe cutting out a couple servings of avocado toast might be in order. But overall, I'm happy. I'm happy I went to that restaurant. I got a great experience. It was a great experience for my daughter to eat at a place like that. It's kind of weird because my kids talk about being vegan as if it's not weird. Like, we'll be walking up to the restaurant or something, and she'll be like, "Oh, so they have vegan food here," and I'm just like, we don't have to talk about they have vegan, it's just weird that I have to feel like I have to like hush my kid, uh I don't know, just a weird thought I was having. Anyways, I should get out of here for today. I want to thank you guys for checking out my broadcasts. I don't see any reason why I won't be back on tomorrow at 4 p.m. If you guys haven't already subscribed to the channel, make sure you do get subscribed to the channel. Click on the bell icon, turn on notifications, and join the family. There's also a Discord down in the description below. You can click on that, join the Discord, kind of introduce yourself, let us know what's going on with you. If you're looking to lose weight or, kind of what your history is, I'd love to hear from you guys. There's also a link to our Pinterest down below. If you're looking to switch to a whole food plant-based diet with no salt, oil, or sugar, there's some great recipes down in our Pinterest that we have adopted into our diet. We don't necessarily do all of those recipes to a T, but we change them a little bit to make them work for us. But or some recipes might call for salt and we remove it, things like that. And really, I mean, it's not anything, but I do have to give a shout out to that Plant Powered Families book. If you have a family and you're looking to get them on some plant-based meals, I would check out the Plant Powered Families cookbook. We've had a lot of success with a few of the recipes on there for the family. So anyways, thank you guys for checking out my stream. If you haven't started your diet yet, why? Get started right now. There's no reason to wait. There's nothing coming up this weekend that's more important. If you started right now, Christmas Day, you could say, I'm 2 weeks in. You'd be at your New Year's Eve or Christmas Eve party telling people, it's okay. I've been doing this for 2 weeks. I feel great. I don't want to screw it up. And a lot of them will be like, yeah, all right, I'm on board with that. Nobody ever gets to the goal either and says, man, wish I would have waited. Every single person says, I wish I would have started. I wish I would have started. Even if it was just 10 days earlier, I wish I would have started sooner. So you guys all have a great evening. I will talk to you tomorrow. Oh, I moved my photo there.